Hey y'all, Big Mike Dog here from the ever-present TruTake crew to give you all our thoughts as we watch some of the new gameplay reveal of Cyberpunk 2077 that just dropped earlier this week. If you've been in a hole somewhere, I will leave a link to the complete video in the description below for your viewing pleasure. However, younger audiences, please beware as the mature content is very mature with nudity and lots of blood and gore. First off, let me just say, I am not sure quite how CD Projekt Red continues to do it. I really don't. Somehow, years after their announcement of their next game, Cyberpunk 2077, which was all the way back in March of 2012, by the way, followed by silence until their first teaser trailer in January of 2015, then came basically complete and utter blackout of information until E3 of this year, if you don't count some of the information that came to the light last year about less than great working conditions during the making of The Witcher 3 and bad management during the development of Cyberpunk 2077. However, even with the silence followed by more silence and bad publicity, they apparently made every critic and games journalist crap their pants in amazement who saw the behind the closed doors only presentation of an unprecedented 50 minutes of gameplay at this year's E3. In light of this information brewing in my noodle, I said to myself, wow, two things must be true. One, we will not hear about this game again for at least another year. They have clearly put a lot of work into the vid and will need to creep back into the shadows to crunch and get things done. If we do hear more next year, number two, it will likely be announced for the next generation of consoles or something, because there is simply no way they could have shown something that blew past the already peak level hype and astounded so many of my nerdy and cynical brethren, yet at the same time still be able to run on the current systems. And yet, the time is nigh. And alas, I am proved wrong. The gameplay has already been revealed ahead of my meticulously calculated schedule for them. Very rude if I do say so myself. However, the signs were there all along. If I was smart, I could have seen them, since most of the best games of any generation came at the end of the console's life cycle, just like GTA 5, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption, Portal 2, BioShock Infinite, Mass Effect 3, Far Cry 3, Borderlands 2, and Dishonored. All came out in the last 2 years of the previous generation's life cycle. Now, CD Projekt could have just given us a little more to nibble on, but instead, they have not only dropped new information, but have the cojones to commit to what they showed to those lucky few at E3 and Gamescom by giving a reportedly similar video to us, the ravenous public. A public that does not forgive or forget very easily, if at all, or ever. We might as well be Liam Neeson. These guys at CD Projekt Red are either supremely confident they can deliver, or they have simply lost their minds. What most surprises me about this gameplay is not how amazing the graphics are, not how immersive and detailed the world is, or how seamless and meaningful the gameplay choices are, not even how ridiculously cool the mods, weapons, action, and overall high level of customization you will seem to have for your character. What most surprises and really outright impresses me is how it is all such a logical and graspable, albeit large, elaborated step forward in currently existing RPG FPS action mechanics. Nothing they showed is so fantastical that it is out of reach. It seems to simply be current tenets of deep RPG gameplay fully pushing the limits of the current hardware and fulfilling our desires for the next level of immersive gameplay. Now, I know, we can all relate to being overhyped for something that in the end really lets us down. Cited game journalists of yesteryear have oversold things many times before, not to mention overzealous game directors. It may burn in the memory of some the words of Peter Molyneux, the previous head at the now sadly defunct Lionhead Studios, who I personally remember in a Game Informer interview of Fable saying you will be able to get a tan if out in the sun too long. Quote, the game would span your hero's whole lifetime, that you could knock an acorn off a tree and slowly over the course of the game watch it grow into a tree of its own, end quote. All inaccurately describing what actually was possible in the first Fable game. Now, I really loved that game for what it was, but I now recognize when a tantalizing breeze of impossibility is being blown up my fluffy pink skirt, unlike when I was in high school and thought it just felt nice on my undercarriage. It is that lesson learned that kept me far away from the No Man's Sky debacle, thank the Lord in heaven, which I am happy to hear they have seemingly righted the ship into something resembling what was originally promised due to the most recent updates. Of course, all of these sentiments may be drowned in a sea of delays, unmet promises, or outright lies. Looking at you, aliens, colonial marines. But I highly doubt it. The footage I have seen leads me to think the few years of hard work is paying off. Only time will tell, though, if CD Projekt Red may end this next season batting 100 or grounding out to third base while I spill a ketchup-covered hot dog on my new white shirt, as I wonder why I'm not playing The Witcher 3 instead of wasting my life at this baseball game. But that's just our take. What are your thoughts on the new Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay footage? And does it look too good to be true? And as always, like, share, and subscribe for more TruTake.
Nice.